genuinely did not think that I was pregnant. Do we want a girl or a boy? Are we gonna find out the gender? Do we know the gender? Are we announcing the gender? I don't know if I ever actually said that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I'm a toddler mom and I am now 15 weeks pregnant with my second. I wanted to come on here and do like a pregnancy Q&A and just kind of catch up because I'm officially out of the first trimester, which sounds crazy. I don't know if it's just because it's like second pregnancy, but the time is flying. Like, I meant to make this video literally weeks ago, but life, first trimester, all of that got to me. So I did save all of the questions. I did like an Instagram question box, Q&A, whatever. I didn't get to all of them. I saved them because I wanted to do them like more in depth here. So gonna go through all those with y'all. So if you can hear trolls in the background, that's because Rhett is sitting here playing through my makeup, watching trolls because he just woke up and I need to just get ready really quick. I figured we would just knock this all out together because him and I are gonna get out of the house. But first question is, I thought you wanted to wait on the second child. I don't know. Hi, baby. Hi. I don't know if I ever actually said that. If you are new here, I went through a blighted ovum. Shake my tripod. I went through a blighted ovum back in December. I had to have a D&C in January. So maybe after that, I said I wanted to wait a little bit. And we did wait a few months. I don't know. Sorry, I'm like trying to help him. I don't know that I really felt like that was necessarily the right time, but it was the right time. I truly believe in God's timing and this was meant to be, and we're very happy with how it worked out. Okay, so next question, someone said, were you trying or did it just happen? And then somebody else said, our toddlers are the same age. I definitely want a second. Any tips for getting pregnant? So we weren't like adamantly trying in the sense of like tracking and ovulation apps, like trying every single day, whatever, which is what we did with my son. But we weren't not trying, and we knew when my ovulation dates were. So we knew we wanted a second. We knew we wanted it to happen when it was supposed to happen. That was kind of our plan back with the blighted ovum. We were like, we're just gonna try when we feel like it and let it happen when it's meant to happen. So that is what we did. And if you've been through a blighted ovum, I don't know if every instance is different. This is my only, like my first experience with having issues conceiving. But in our situation, my doctor, or the doctor that I saw for this, said this has nothing to do with like being fertile or not. So we could pretty much try as soon as my next cycle came around. So when it comes to tips on getting pregnant, my only tips are to listen to your body. Try when you are like a couple days before your ovulation window, leading up to your ovulation window. Those are the only days of the month that you actually can get pregnant, and just take care of yourself. I feel like if your body's not in an optimal place to get pregnant, I mean, you still could, but just take care of yourself. Those are the only tips that I have. I don't have, you know, anything like acupuncture, Mucinex, or all the things that people tell you when they're struggling that worked for them. We didn't have to do any of those things. So I don't have any other advice there, but I am sending baby dust and prayers to anyone who does want to be pregnant and is currently struggling, because I know I got a little glimpse into what that felt like. And then just like a follow-up question, someone said, was this a surprise after the struggles that you shared about talking about my blighted ovum? It was a little bit of a surprise in the sense that like I genuinely did not think that I was pregnant. I was late on my period by like over a week. Look at how bad I need a self-tan. It's terrible. Adding self-tanning to the weekend to-do list. I was over at a friend's house who has been through like IUIs and lots of infertility doctor's appointments and done this to conceive both of her kids. So she always has pregnancy tests on deck, and I was like, I don't think I'm pregnant. We were about to leave for the beach for like our family beach trip. Her and her family were going with us. I was turning 30 on this beach trip. I was like, I really don't think I'm pregnant. I've taken tests. My tests have come back negative, but I'm like over a week late for my period. Like my period should have came and gone. She was like, just take a test. So I just took one at her house with her. Came up positive immediately. And it was so funny because I was like, what does a positive look like? And she runs in like, what are you talking about? Like, one, you already have a child. You know what a positive looks like. And two really dark pink lines. That's positive. Okay, got a few questions on like due date and the age gap between the babies. So Rhett will be 2 years old at the end of September. This baby is due January 25th. So the age gap is gonna be, can I do the math? September, October, November, December, January. 28 months. Almost 2.5 years, not quite. I think that's gonna be a perfect age gap for us. I feel like Rhett is very advanced in some things. Like mobily, and he's really good at communicating, but he doesn't quite have like verbal vocabulary yet. Why can't I talk? He doesn't have a huge vocabulary yet. I feel like we are currently in that like language explosion that they tell you about, but I'm really excited for us to just have like more one-on-one time with him before we have another baby here, and just some more time to focus on like developing that and helping him like figure things out before the baby gets here. So babies will be 28 months apart, due at the end of January. But with my history of having an induction and a C-section, I could very well see this baby being a February baby. Hope not, but we'll see. Okay, lots and lots of gender questions. Like, do we want a girl or a boy? Are we gonna find out the gender? Do we know the gender? Are we announcing the gender? So if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you know that we already know the gender. We did a sneak peek test and I got it confirmed by our doctor in like our maternity 21 genetic testing that we do. I like doing that to confirm. I did the same thing with my son, and that was all like, it all lined up to be a boy. Obviously like anatomy scan at 20 weeks is kind of the final like gender, yes or no, but all these tests now are like 99% accurate. So I firmly believe I know what we're having. We really don't care what we have. Like we had just said, you know, we want a healthy baby. It's funny because like when I got pregnant with Rhett, everybody said it's gonna be a girl because my husband is meant to be a girl dad, and I really didn't think that it was gonna be a girl, but like that had me convinced that like it was. So we were shocked when we found out that he was a boy. So then going into this time, we just were like, okay, we want to have like a more open mind and just be excited for anything. Obviously we were very excited about Rhett. We were just caught off guard because we had it dead set in our mind that it was going to be a girl. So we were really getting ourselves pumped up, like how cool would it be to have one of both? How could it be to have two boys? We don't care either way, but we do know now, and as of right now we do not plan on sharing the gender. We just want to keep something to ourselves, honestly. I feel like we share quite a bit online, and it's kind of fun to keep something to ourselves, which lately I have been feeling like, I'm not gonna lie, part of me really wants to share the gender. I think if I do it, I'm still gonna wait, and I definitely won't be sharing the baby's name, but that's where we're at right now. Okay, sorry if the lighting looks different. I had to turn my light off because my camera was like overheating. I don't know. Also, my husband took Rhett downstairs so we can just chat in peace for a second and catch up. But the next question on here that somebody asked is, are you going to continue to be a stay-at-home mom with both babies? The answer is yes. So when Rhett was 3 months old, I put in my notice for my job. I was working for my husband and I didn't want to like leave them high and dry because it's a small business. So I gave them literally a 3-month notice. Like I was like, I'll work with y'all to kind of develop this position, because I was pretty much like one of 2 people who did marketing and social media. So I just wanted to make sure that they were really prepared. But that's when I left my job. I was trying to work from home and also like be a stay-at-home mom. And as babies grow, they need more things from you. They need more attention. I felt like I wasn't able to like give my job or my son like the attention that they needed. So I quit my job. Blessed that we have like social media as another outlet to be able to make additional income, because truthfully, that's the only way that like we are able to survive the way that we are. And if anybody is familiar with like owning a small business, it's not all glitz and glamour. So social media is actually a saving grace, not only for me to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, but just in general to like take care of and support our family. I obviously do social media on my own accounts. My husband does social media through our dog's accounts, and that helps our family tremendously. So 100% going to continue to stay at home while also creating content. I don't want to minimize that because that's a full-time job in itself. I'm always working like after hours, whenever I can squeeze in a couple minutes. Like right now my husband's taking rest so I can date this son really quick. You know, during nap times, always editing, filming, thinking of stuff. So don't want to minimize that at all, but yes, I will continue to stay home with my kids, with both my kids now. This next question is, were you so anxious about your first appointment this go around because of your past? And the answer is yes. Sorry, I'm eating popcorn. I'm multitasking. The answer is yes. We were kind of holding our breath for that first appointment, and being able to actually see a baby on the screen was like so validating. And I felt really good like going to all the appointments so far. But being that they're so spaced out right now, I will say I have like started to have more anxiety, because I'm like telling myself like, because it's too soon to feel any movement or anything like that, I'm getting in my head that I'm gonna go to an appointment soon and they're like not gonna hear a heartbeat anymore. And my last appointment was at 12 weeks. And when I went in, they struggled to find the heartbeat on like the handheld monitor, the Doppler. So they had to bring in the ultrasound where they did hear the heart rate, or the heartbeat, excuse me. But it was just really nerve-wracking. And it's given me a little bit of anxiety because of our past experience, which I'm telling myself is normal, and like that's not a mother's intuition that something is wrong. That is just because of the experience that I've had. I'm obviously going to be anxious about this experience. So if you're feeling that, you are not alone. I don't think it's going to go away, honestly, until we get further in the pregnancy. And one, I'm at the doctor more often, can hear the heart rate more often, but also like I'll be able to feel the baby's movements, which helps me a lot. That gave me a lot of peace of mind with Rhett because he was like so active and so mobile. I could always feel him. So I was like never really worried about him because I never went a certain amount of time without movement. And then while we're on the topic of like anxiety and worry, someone else said, just found out I'm pregnant with baby number 2 and I'm nervous. Are you nervous for 2 babies? Yes and no. I think right now I'm just excited. I do think, like I said, I'm getting anxious about some things. So like the thought of having to take care of 2 people at one time, or like what happens when my toddler's awake and my newborn needs to go down, or vice versa, and I'm the only person here to take care of them, kind of thing. That started to pop up in my mind, and it does make me a little nervous. I do think I thrive really well under chaos, so I got that going for me. But yeah, right now it's just kind of like hit or miss. Like those thoughts will come every now and again. I think that we'll get a lot more real as we get closer to the end and like closer to meeting this baby. I'll start to panic a little bit more about some things becoming a reality, which I think is totally normal. Like we've never done that before, so we're like, how am I supposed to do that? Because taking care of this one already seems so hard. I think that's normal. I think that we're women and we're badass and we'll figure out a way to do it. So if you are also in that same boat, you're not alone, and we will figure it out. Okay? Promise. Okay, someone else said, how are you feeling? So sweet. Thank you guys for even asking. I feel really good now that I am almost 15 weeks. I'll be 15 weeks tomorrow. Well, by the time I edit and upload this video, I'll be 15 weeks pregnant. But I feel like I just had like waves of nausea. So in the beginning, very exhausted, could not keep my eyes open throughout the day, like had to nap during my toddler's naps. And that is still the case sometimes. Like if we have a full day and he has been a handful and we've been like out and about and stuff, like I'm really exhausted, so I do take a nap. But in the beginning, it was like we'd wake up at 6 or something, and by 7 o'clock, no joke, like my husband's still home, we're hanging out as a family, I'm falling asleep on the couch. Like it was really bad. I also just had like waves of nausea, which I also had with my first, and I felt like this time around I am smarter. I know not to avoid food. Like I think with my first, I was so worried I was going to throw up that I would get nauseous and I would be like, I'm not going to eat anything. Like I can't eat anything. My stomach hurts so bad. Not like I didn't want to eat, but you know, when you feel like you're going to throw up, you don't want to eat because you don't want to throw up. This time around, I'm like, no. I'd wake up in the morning and like first thing, make myself a protein shake. And I really think that helped. Didn't knock out the nausea completely, but it did help. I also feel like with my son, my first baby, that I was like really, really conscious of what I ate. Like I tried to eat just only healthy foods, which is good to do when you're pregnant, smart to do. But this time around, I've been a lot more lenient about just letting myself eat what feels like a comfort food, even if it's like, you know, not the best thing for me or kind of junky or whatever. Because at the end of the day, the first trimester truly is about survival, and you eat what you got to eat to get through it. Okay. Like your body needs calories, your body needs nourishment. I wish I could talk. So yeah, I've just been trying to give myself grace. And now that I am out of the second trimester, I have been trying to focus a lot more on eating better because we got to get back to that. Okay. And then the last question, someone said, you mentioned about being one and done. What happened to that? So, yes, when my son was like 6 months old, me and my husband were like, you know what? One baby's enough. I think one is good. One is done. Like we're done. And I did talk a lot about that. And I said like, you know, never say never. Something might change our mind. But as of right now, we're feeling really content with one. Also, like our plate is very full with one. Everyone's experience is really different. There I did not have like postpartum depression. I probably had a little bit of postpartum anxiety, and I think everybody gets like baby blues after they have a baby. But this wasn't like resentment towards my child. There was nothing like that. I was, and still am, so smitten in love with my child, to the point where like we couldn't even think about loving a second child, which I think is where that came into play a lot. Also, up until literally this week, he has not slept through the night. And he is almost 22 months old, like almost 2 years old in a month and some change. So we were real tired, okay? It's really hard, like I said, to even fathom like loving another person as much as you love your child. Especially when you just had them. Like, people start asking you that and you just had the baby. And it kind of, for me, is such a turn off. Like, it made me be like, no. Like, I don't want another one. Like, why would I want? And it kind of like festered that feeling and that thought. And this is just to those people, give people room to breathe, okay? Because that's like a big turn off. And that for a while, really, like I said, kind of spurred the thoughts for me. Like, the more people asked, the more I was like, I don't want to have a second one, honestly. Totally happy, content the way that we are. So I really think that this started to change around the toddler stage, which I started calling my toddler a toddler when he turned 1. And I look back at the pictures of him as a 1-year-old and I'm like, that's a bald baby. That is not a toddler, okay? Which, very true, but he did start to walk at like 10 months old. So he was mobile and he just started to do a lot more stuff. And I really feel like that was the age that made us want to have another. Like, not long after he turned 1, because I remember at his first birthday party telling people like, yeah, I don't really want to have another one. And a lot of our friends and family were like, y'all just don't seem like a one and done like kind of family. Like, I don't know, like nobody really pushed us, but they were like, interesting. Like, I wouldn't have thought that. Whatever you choose to do in your family is like what you choose to do. I'm just cleaning things up now. But we changed our mind, and that's okay. And I say that all the time, like with everything, never say never. But if you're wondering how we're crazy and we live in a townhome with 3 golden retrievers and a toddler and now a baby, that's how, because we thought we weren't having any more kids. So we got a puppy when our son was 7 months old. And now we're going to have a full house, which a dream. Honestly, my husband has always wanted to have more dogs. And right now we're maxed out. Okay. Someone started asking me that too. Like, oh, another dog? No one else, okay, for a little bit. But that's how we kind of decided that we wanted to have another baby. And honestly, you can make that decision whenever you want. But that is all I have. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I left out. I'll try to do some more updates as time goes on. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
It's so cute.